Hey guys, welcome back to the Breakup Diet. This is Ilms and this is Yaz. Today we're interviewing Christine Rafe from Lovehoney. She is a sex and love relationship therapist as well as the founder of Good Vibes Clinic. It's going to get a bit raunchy. This will be our raunchiest episode yet. So if you're with your parents, listen, but with earphones. Welcome to the pod, Christine. How are you?
Yeah, I'm really good. Thank you so much for having me. And I'm really excited to be part of the raunchiest episode yet.
Let's switch it up. We've been holding back way too much. Welcome to the Breakup Diet.
For us, yeah. For us, because we're very prudish people. So
Okay, well, let's see if we can crack that open.
Okay, let's get into it. Okay, be honest. Is rebound sex ever a good idea?
So this is an interesting question, right? Because I think yes and no. And probably different people have different opinions on it. And I think where it can be a yes is if the intention is really to get back out there, to rediscover yourself, to connect with your sexuality or your sensuality again, to have fun. Like we know, especially pleasurable good sex can be an amazing rush of confidence, of dopamine, like all the feel-good hormones. And I think if you are intentional about the reasons why you're going out and having rebound sex or having sex soon after a breakup, then I think it can be really helpful for people to move on and a lovely distraction.
okay, my question, sorry to follow up. If the sex was so good, it's not bad then to have a rebound with him. So I can't call my ex to have sex, right?
No, I don't know. You're going to get caught in the dick sand.
Yeah. And I guess this is it, right? Is if you're doing it to avoid feeling, any of the feelings of disconnect from that person or from any other person that you might have rebound sex with. Or as a way of trying to get back with someone, then not super helpful.
It just sucks. Why do the shittiest people have the greatest dicks?
Because they don't have much else going for them. So they have to have that going for them, maybe.
What if I
that is
really molded his dick and make it?
Oh no, you'll got it.
Yeah. And honestly, I guess what I would say to that is reflecting on what made it so good. Is it actually his specific penis, or is it how you felt when you were in the experience, what he understood about your pleasure in your body? I think
it's the euphoria
made
of
it
it.
so good.
Yeah.
Also, if you know someone so much, as in if you've slept with them for a long time, then they obviously know you, and you know what I mean?
They know exactly how to push the buttons, so to speak, right? If you've had sex with them, the first time having sex with a new person, most of the time is going to be clunky and uncomfortable and awkward in some senses because they don't know your body and your body's different to everybody else's. So yeah, absolutely. Going back to the same old dick, it makes sense that we would want to go there, especially if it was good. But if there's still feelings there, residual feelings, or if there's a sense of going, well, maybe we'll get back together and that's not the reality, then it's probably not worth it. And actually exploring more around, what made it so good? And then how do I replicate that elsewhere?
I have a question. Sorry, this isn't on the list, so sorry. So don't have to answer. But so say you go back to your ex and you have sex and they love bomb you, right? But then don't want anything. What is that person? Just a bad person they are?
Why do we do that? Why do we run back to them even though we know it's a bad idea?
Because we get this surge of hormones when it comes to people that we have an insecure relationship with, especially if they're love bombing us, because they make us feel really good. The highs are really high and then the lows are really fucking low. I don't know if I can swear, but I will. So it's hard to, turn away from those things, but it's not good for you.
The endorphins is such an addiction. It's annoying. It's like being a drug addict when you're wanting them again.
Yeah. That is it. It is your body responds hormonally in the same way as people who are taking drugs. It is actually an addiction, which is why we keep doing it.
God.
Like a rehab for people like us.
The rehab is yourself.
How do you know? So you've broken up with someone and you get a bit sad. You might not have found somebody else and you're starting to feel a bit lonely. How do you know whether you're actually just feeling lonely or it's that you miss them? Because I feel like people get confused between the two.
Totally. And I think it's really important to acknowledge that both probably are true to some degree, right? Like even people that are not good for us, that we can acknowledge, like maybe even, if they're love bombing or they're doing like toxic behaviors, even those people have qualities that we are probably going to miss, right? Like we miss the way that they called us a certain pet name, or we miss the way that they kiss us. Like we are going to miss specific things about a person, even if they are so wrong for us. I guess it's thinking about like, what are the specific things that you're actually missing? Are you missing having someone to sleep with at nighttime? Are you missing having sex with someone? Are you missing companionship? Like, and I guess if it's more broad or general, then actually you're probably just missing, the company and the known, especially for people who are in longer term relationships or with someone for quite a long time or used to being in relationships to then not be. It can feel really isolating, and like it's really a shift and a change from what you kind of know your life to be.
So the broader things you miss, it's more the fact that you're kind of struggling with a new change.
Yeah.
If it's specific, you miss him. Nothing specific for us.
No.
Right. And I guess even if it is, like if there's anyone out there listening and they're like, it is really, I really specifically miss the spag bowl that they would cook me. And it doesn't mean that they are like your soulmate or your one because you miss the way they cooked for you. Like there are other people out there in the world who are going to do that for you.
And maybe better.
I think so too, because your standards do get better as you navigate like post-breakup life. You kind of reflect like, okay, this is what I want, this is what I don't want. And from there, you definitely get someone that's more compatible to you, I think.
I guess this is kind of like the good way to look at breakups, even if, or especially if you're dumped, but even if you're the dumpee, is like you're always learning new information about what it is that you want, what you don't want, what you like, the types of people that you're interested in, the things that actually are really important to you in a relationship. Like every new person that you date or are in a relationship with, you're learning new stuff about yourself.
Yeah, so true.
In terms of, I guess, rebuilding your confidence after a breakup, well, a lot of us lose confidence in our bodies after heartbreak. What do you suggest someone to do to kind of bounce back with confidence again?
Yeah, feel like sexy in your body and like, confident.
Yeah, like totally resonating with, especially if someone breaks up with us.
Yeah.
That feeling of, questioning, is it about us? And especially in like the way that our social narrative is constructed, especially for women, so much about like sexual, was I not sexy enough? Was I not good enough at sex? Do I not have this specific type of body, whatever it might be? So usually what I say to people is like, and I think we'll probably get to this, but sex drive and sexual confidence is usually at like an all-time low when you've been broken.
Yes.
Yeah. We both had that. And like,
we have that.
Yeah, have that. Most like women I seem to see have that, not all the time, but a lot of the time. But men seem to do the opposite most of the time. They go out there
with the entire city.
And I'm like, how? I don't even want to be like hold hands with somebody else like back then at all.
Yeah. Well, and I suppose this sort of comes to what we were talking about before. Like, what are your reasons for like rebounding to like a new sexual relationship really quickly? And for men, often there's like an ego element there, right? Like the quicker that they get back out there and start sleeping with people, the more that they can, like for them, there's kind of that rebuilding of the confidence, which can absolutely work for women as well. But when you don't feel like doing it, it can be hard to kind of take that step. And I guess what I suggest to people is like focus on reconnecting with your body and your pleasure generally, like remove sex and pleasure from it for a moment and actually think about like, what are the things that feel good for me? Like I freaking love like my face in the sun. So like starting to like incorporate just moments of joy again, right? Like what are the things that you used to do? How did you used to connect with yourself or like friends when you were not in this relationship or before that? And then slowly starting to incorporate more of the things that are maybe sensual or sexual, because it's really hard to just like feel super sexy and confident post breakup. But if we kind of come back away from okay, sexual pleasure or sexual confidence and becomes to just general confidence and general pleasure. And then we can sort of hone back in. We can use things like toys. We can buy some new sexy lingerie for ourselves. We can take some sexy selfies of ourselves, like those sort of things that then start to make us feel a little bit more sexually confident again. One more thing, reflect on how you're talking to yourself about yourself, especially at a breakup. Because, you know, what I was sort of saying before about the self-worth and our confidence can feel kind of low. What are we actually saying to ourselves? Like, are we saying like, I'm not sexy enough, or, you know, I wasn't good enough, or I wasn't this enough? And if we are, like, that's okay, because usually, especially most women in this world do have moments or like lots of thoughts like that, but just actually trying to neutralize them. So like, you know, I have a body. Some people find my body sexy, even if this person didn't, or even if I'm telling myself this person didn't, other people will. And I am, you know, a sexual person, and I do deserve pleasure, and starting to neutralize and like switch those sort of stories that we have to more positive things. Because, yeah, the way we talk about ourselves is really like 100% of how we feel in ourselves.
And I think like you can tell when someone like speaks negatively to themselves, because the way they carry themselves is very like, babe, like, how are you missing what I'm like seeing? Do you know what I mean?
This is just reminding me of something, because before my ex, I probably did speak negative to myself, and like props to him. Like, he didn't give it to me, but he allowed that like space in my mind to then be able for myself to like give it to myself. So now, thankfully, I haven't had this, but one thing I was really scared of if I ever did go through a breakup with him would be that I would go back to my negative thoughts before. So I'm happy that I didn't. But I feel like some people might, and that like if they link their happiness or they link their confidence to one person, that
They're never gonna feel happy, because like you need to find that confidence and that self-worth within you. Like, the home that you build for yourself is what you have ultimately, and that's where you can let the best people in.
Yeah. And I'm really glad that you continue to carry those stories. Like, even if, you can be like, thanks to that person, because they actually started to help me reframe and rewire the way that I talk to myself.
Yeah.
But actually then that you've been able to take that on with you outside of that relationship. That's awesome.
Yeah. One good thing from him.
No, I feel like all relationships, like, they teach you valuable lessons, and they do help you build up confidence. Like, as a heterosexual woman, like, of course I'm gonna feel great when another man tells me I'm great. Like, that's how I'm biologically wired.
Yeah. And that's where, like, I guess kind of like the rebound, like going out and finding like a fun sexual experience off the back of a breakup can actually be really helpful for us in like feeling sexually confident and noticing, people are interested in me. And like, if it's not this person, then like there are plenty of other fish in the sea.
Hang on, let's stop this for a sec. Subscribe and follow The Breakup Diet. You don't want to miss another episode.
We always like talk about like decentering men, but it's crazy to like the idea of like decentering men in a sexual context. Like, that's something I've never thought about, because like my pleasure is important. And like, I shouldn't have to wait for a man to feel that pleasure, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's what toys are for, honey.
There you go.
There we go. I need some recommendations. What's like something that feels like a human being?
There's plenty of like lifelike dildos and
Human temperature.
Oh no, and
human temperature. Yeah, you can
Is it
warm up
actually?
your hands in a bit of lube. Yeah.
Okay, that is really good to know, because like the whole thing about toys, sometimes it can be intimidating because it's essentially a machine. Sometimes you do want it to be a bit human-like, so it's not too like, because these toys, like some of them, especially like the new ones, these new models didn't exist like 20 years ago. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you'll see.
I mean, if you have a look on the Lovehoney website, there are like thousands of.
It's like, where do you begin? Like, where do you start?
maybe we can get Christine to recommend like two, and we can put it in.
That's what I was asking. Yeah. So what's like
would
your
love,
top two recommendation?
Well, these are not like human-like in a sense, although there are some really good dildo recommendations that I can send you that look probably exactly like the cock that you can't stop thinking about. But when it comes to like pleasure products that also decenter like men and penises, I
Yeah.
think like your clitoral suction toys are like, I find it so hard to go past recommending them first for women because
Okay.
they, like the Womanizer brand, have like the best kind of range of clitoral suction toys, whether they're just the external clitoral suction or dual stimulation, so you can have that internal, more like cock-like feel. But they just go above and beyond for female pleasure and for clitoral pleasure.
What about one just for like G-spot pleasure?
Yeah. So you can get glass, which actually, if you want something that's like,
Is that safe?
yeah. Yeah. So if you want something that has like temperature, you know, that you can temperature control a little bit more, then definitely something like that. Otherwise, anything that has like a curved shape that actually supports accessing the G-spot, which is kind of in that like come hither motion.
Yeah.
There's lots of options for those, and ones that vibrate, ones that pulse, ones that suck, you name it.
Oh my God, there's so much. That's so exciting. I feel like people should use breakups as a way to just figure themselves out sexually. It doesn't have to come from another person.
100%. And actually, the best sex that you can have with a partner is when you know
Yourself better.
about yourself and you know the things that you need. Yeah.
Amazing. I'm going to switch back. For somebody that like is always in a relationship and jumps from relationship to relationship, what's something that they can do to really feel just secure and not, and break that cycle, you know, of, because I know quite a few people that do just jump because they're scared to be alone.
I used to be like that as well. Yeah.
But how can they actually like break doing that?
I suppose if it's something that you see that is a real pattern of behavior, then maybe speaking to like a therapist, or like a support group, or reading something like Attached, which is an amazing book.
Attached is amazing. That healed me. Seriously. Once I like discovered that I'm an anxious attachment person, I'm like, oh, this can't repeat again.
I guess like getting external resource. But I think like the main thing that comes up for me around this is that we pedestal romantic relationships as like these are the main relationships, and so everything else like kind of just like sits below in this weird hierarchy. But the reality is, like, you think about people who feel like, oh, I have to be in a relationship because otherwise I feel like insecure or lonely or isolated or whatever. It's like you actually probably have a lot of really, really securely attached relationships in your life that are not romantic and sexual. Like the relationships that women have with each other are more secure than any like hetero man is ever probably going to be able to provide you, unfortunately. And I think if we just kind of redefine or just start to think about what does it mean to be like secure and have relationships versus being single, it's like if we're surrounded by friends and family and we focus on those relationships when we're not in a romantic or sexual relationship with someone else, then we can see that we have like security and that we can have that within ourselves, like focusing on the relationship with self, but even just noticing that we have those other relationships that are there. And actually, like, the research continues to show that single childless women are the happiest population subgroup. So
yeah.
Childless cat ladies for the win. You don't need to have this romantic sexual relationship at all times in order to be secure and have secure relationships. Yeah, that would be what I would say about it, is like actually thinking about it from a bigger picture perspective.
I think it would be hard if like everybody around you is in relationships then, and then you feel like it's not that you are, but you feel like you're almost not good enough to have one or not good enough to like be wanted by somebody else. I think that's the hardest thing of that. So yeah, obviously rewiring and stuff would help.
Oh, 100%. And the thing is, reality is that a lot of people in long-term like hetero relationships, the women are putting in so much work. So I feel like, oh, I'm not missing out on anything. Like, it's nothing to do with the fact that, oh, I can't keep a man. It's, I don't want to keep them if they're mean.
If they're like that. Totally. And I think this really is just like unraveling the social conditioning that women have received, that like to be in a relationship and marry and have children is like the goal. Because if you actually think about it and you look at, if you're a single person and all your friends are in relationships and you do like a bit of a like review, you know, an external review of these relationships, are they the relationships you want to be in? Like maybe one or two of them, you might be like, yeah, that looks like the relationship that I would want. But probably most of them, especially long-term relationships, like yeah, it's kind of fucked out there.
Isn't it so crazy that out of all the things a woman can achieve, it's somehow a relationship and a marriage that gets celebrated? Like, I could create a new physics theory that could help all of us fly to space. How is that not as good of an achievement as...
Is that in the pipeline?
I mean, girl, maybe a dildo, the first dildo to go up in space. Isn't it crazy that, like, out of anything that you can achieve, that is what's celebrated?
Yeah. And it is like shifting, you know, and I think this is it, is like we're now seeing so much more research coming out about, like women choosing to stay single, especially hetero women, because they are not willing to settle for the standard of man that's out there and the expectations that then fall upon them in relationships.
I just don't want to be disrespected. And at this point, I feel like the men can only be nice to you for the first 3 months on average.
Yeah.
This kind of leads on to the next question, because obviously with boys cheating and with boys it's not only boys.
Like guys disrespecting you, how do you rebuild, I guess, trust in future relationships and not bring the shit from the past into your present relationship?
Taking time. And I know it's like, would be great if I was like, this is the magic pill and this is what you can do. But time to process and grieve and be angry and feel all of the feelings and all of the things around it, because otherwise, we will, especially if people then are like, okay, I feel lonely, I have to jump into the next relationship. We are going to carry that baggage. And to be honest, like we carry with us every experience from the past anyway. But if you're someone who feels maybe it's happened a few times, they've been betrayed or lied to, or maybe they even just have a story of like, I can't trust anyone, or like all men are bad, then definitely seeking some support to, you know, I guess work through that, because it's not true, even though it feels like it might be true. And again, what I was saying before about like prioritizing or looking at platonic relationships is think about all the relationships you have with people that you trust, right? And people that trust you. And so it's not a you thing, it's a them thing. And really just like coming back to that. And I guess in terms of like, then, you know, I suppose that's like the off the back of a betrayal, and then going into a new relationship, how can we have trust? Like communicating needs and boundaries and relational agreements from day one.
Yeah.
Super important. And I think what I've found in the work that I do, and also like some of the research, which is really interesting around like expectations around relationships and what is fidelity and infidelity, is being really clear and not making any assumptions that whatever you consider to be not cheating or monogamy or whatever version of a relationship you're in, that's the same as the other person, because most of the time it is not. Like there was this really interesting research I was reading in prep for this, that 30% of people surveyed through Lovehoney considered OnlyFans to be cheating. If that's like 1/3 of people are considering something like that, that's a non-physical, like non-emotional relationship, but there is an element of, you know, personalization there, then like, do you consider that cheating? And if so, like being really clear with your partner about what that means, because otherwise you know, no one really sits down and goes, okay, what is monogamy to us and what is, you know, fidelity and infidelity? We just have these assumptions, and then we go into relationships and we get hurt because someone else is like, I didn't realize that was cheating, or I didn't see it that way. Like 85% see penetrative sex as someone else as cheating, meaning 15% of people didn't.
What? How? My God. Then what is cheating to those 15%?
Dying.
Exactly. It's why you got to ask the question.
Like, what else could there? What?
That is great.
Yeah, I guess some people look at more like emotional cheating as more important or more significant or more of a betrayal. So, like, and I think, I mean, that stat did surprise me as much as like I see people questioning like what fidelity and infidelity means all the time. That like to even that there are 15% of people out there that you're going on dates with that wouldn't consider that cheating. It's probably a good conversation to have. So you can feel like you have a really solid base of that's what isn't acceptable in this relationship. It's probably going to haunt you now.
Now that's going to be like my fourth date. So do you think this is cheating?
Yeah. What do you include as cheating?
Give me a list right now.
Well, because you work with Lovehoney, Would you be able to create a vibrator that lobotomizes the traumatized part of your brain?
I can definitely put it to the research team because
I'm kind of like, you know what? I'd rather have a vibrator that heals like this part of my brain than to have this conversation where I'm like, so what do you think is cheating? This is a hard conversations to have.
Yeah. And honestly, it's kind of like the downfall of most relationships is that we feel we haven't like learned the language of talking about, well, not just about fidelity and infidelity, but about sex and about pleasure and about fantasy and, you know, all of the like hard conversations to do with sex and relationships. We've kind of just been like, I don't know, we just have to kind of wing it. And so people are terrified and so they don't have the conversations and then they get fucked over or the relationships don't work because of it.
Thank you so much for coming on the breakup diet and giving us lots of advice and clarity on sex and relationships and dating.
And how everything really does tie back to each other. Like not one thing is separate from one another.
Thank you. It's been so fun.
Yeah, thank you. When you talk to Lovehoney, tell them the idea that I've given you.
I'll definitely pitch it to them for sure.
Perfect. All right. I'll see you next meeting.